Well, welcome to 180 U-Turn, the talk show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who are on the highway to hell when they encountered a Damascus Road experience that changed their life forever. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, and today we're broadcasting from Church on the Street, located at the Dream Center in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona. It's one of the top post-prison transition, detox, and rehab facilities for inmates, drugs, and alcohol abuse in the nation. For more information on their prison ministry, rehabilitation services, weekly meetings, and special events, just check out their website at cotsphoenix.org. That's cotsphoenix.org. And listen, if you want to write me at the show's email address to me is steve@180uturn.com. That's steve@180YOUTURN. We're in day 4 of Mark Zemrus' story, and sometimes we euphemistically call this Holy Thursday. You know, it's the kind of the conversion day, right?
Yeah.
Now, and many of my people that I've had in the show, they have a sudden impact conversion, but yours was much more incremental. Slow, sure. It wasn't that you were resisting, it's just that that's all you could handle.
Yeah, there wasn't no super miraculous, just, vibration through the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, situation like that. It was just, God wanted me to go through each and every little situation because He's preparing me for whatever He's preparing me for that I can't see with my finite mind.
Okay, now, how did you even hear about Dream Center to come here after you got out?
This last time in prison, the 4.5 years for narcotics possession, they say, hey, you can sign up for this Maximizing Manhood course by Edwin Lewis Cole.
Is that in prison?
In
prison.
county jail,
in
yeah.
County jail, okay.
In county jail. It's being taught by a gentleman named Angel, and
yeah.
he's from Church on the Streets, and he comes with, at the time, Pastor Gator. Mm-hmm. And he would bring some other guys sometimes, and that's where I heard Church on the Streets, and I'm like, man, these dudes are, whatever. I'm like, oh, these dudes are from, we sitting there in jail, and that's all we're taught to do is just judge. Judge. So that's what
Now, don't you find it counterintuitive that all I can do, the very thing you don't want, which is people judging you, right? Assessing you. You don't even know me, and you're making assumptions, right?
Right.
And we're sitting back, kicking, and you remember, chapel's optional. You don't have to go. You don't
have to go.
And you're sitting in chapel judging some guy that's given his time, sweat equity, and whatever gas it costs him to do it. I'm always amazed, right, at how we can change the seats we're in, right, so fast, and become judgmental about other people. So you went to a couple of these teachings for Maximizing Manhood.
I go to a couple of these teachings. Now, mind you, I'm just getting out of chapel so I can, we're shooting kites, we're passing notes, things are happening behind the scenes. Right. That's the only reason I'm going to chapel. That and to associate with people from other buildings that I need to associate with. That's it. That's our communication. And so that's why I do that in medical. So that's what I do.
Okay, you're listening to this guy.
I'm
Anything touching you from what Angel's saying?
It's just, I'm getting a vibe. They bring this one dude in. They start listening to Christian rap, and they're starting to kind of let me know that you can Christ can be involved in those situations. And all right, it's not that lame, as I would say it, or it's not that dweeby. It's not that Bible thumping. It seemed kind of just. These dudes were strong. There didn't seem like no bravado. It just seemed like solid men that were sure of themselves in their identity in Christ, but I didn't know that at the time.
And guys that had similar stories.
Right. And what you get the ones that it's somebody that can relate to me, right? One of those dudes changed my trajectory, my thinking, and got me to think to where, wow, well, maybe it's possible. I don't know, but right now, not really. You're not really full in. I
know, but the first time that you actually, the consideration goes through your head and you don't immediately squash it.
No.
You're just like, okay, I'm not going to I might let that thought live in my head.
Well, they mentioned this wonderful place called the Dream Center, and I'm 8 months into a prison sentence, or a county, I haven't been sentenced yet. I'm fighting 3.5 years. I don't want to sign for 3.5 years. They end up giving me 4.5 because I made them wait to sign. So they give me an extra year because I made them wait. I go to those classes and I just start digging in, man. All of a sudden, I'm doing Bible studies. I have no clue really at that point in time about the Bible, but people are sitting at the table doing Bible study.
I know, but you're there with your Bible.
I'm there with my Bible.
Now, you may not be getting it, right?
I don't get it.
You don't get it.
I don't really get it. I'm
you're
trying to
okay.
act like I get it.
But you're okay with being with brothers.
I'm rolling with brothers.
Yes, and by the way, that's the first time where you're like, hey, this is a fraternity. This is like a family.
Well, because we got some Mormon dudes in there. We got all kind of denominations in that Bible study, and we're really just, that's when I start to see different colors, different backgrounds, and I'm like, whoa, these guys are acting like brothers. Weird.
Even Catholics.
Even Catholics.
Yeah, there you go.
Even Catholic. Arabic symbolism on his neck, skinhead affiliated, racist because other things at that time they taught me, person, and we're all together. I'm sitting with blacks, Mexicans, Paisas, Mormons.
Right. And we're
Catholics.
reading the Bible in a group.
We're reading the Bible as a group.
Okay. Could you ever point to one thing that was happening during those times as you said, that is an awesome verse? Or an awesome passage, or that story is my story. Because a lot of guys go through those things.
Somebody told me to hit. It was Job. Job comes to mind right now because there wasn't really nothing, and I'm like, this dude's got sores all over his body. His friends and his girl or his wife are like, come on, man, just curse
him and get it done with.
Just curse him and get it done with. And the dude was like, no, my God's bigger than this. There's, X, Y, Z, whatever he was going through with open sores. The dog licked him. I mean, dude, come on. Yeah. Imagine that. That's just me. If I get a pimple, I freak out. So imagine me hearing the story in a broken state. Now, mind you, first 5 weeks I'm there. This is the detox off heroin. This is going down. 5 weeks of intense. I wake up one day and I got a beard like this. And I'm like, no, wait. I don't know how it got there. I'm getting it lined up and I start to have a beard. I'm detoxing. It's bad. I didn't get a clamp and taper. I had to do it with water and lots of showers and lots of boxers.
When you and were you reading the Bible and hanging with these guys during this time?
They would invite me out. I would hear them singing. It would draw me out. I'd go back in. They'd say, come on, brother, come on. We're going to pray. Come back in. Prayer circle, it's a typical thing. At the end of the night, they prayer circle before we lock down. These things are going on, but I'm still politicking off the side. I'm still with the homie white boy and the homie
So what do you think it was that finally broke you from that issue, still doing on the side issues, to hey, I'm thinking about doing this?
Because they give me 4.5, I can't get out of it, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to prison again. I'm talking to my mom and dad, and they're saying they hear the change, but it's still fully not there. Yes, there's some good stuff going on, but it's still being worked on. God's still going like this with the mold, with the potter's wheel, with the clay. He's going like this.
Do you see yourself resisting at this time still?
I'm in, but I'm not 100%. I'm not hot.
How many guys in prison are like you, the way you're describing it? I'm going to chapel, listening to it, even reading the Bible once in a while, cracking it open. Right. But I just can't bring myself to go all in. I can't cross the line.
A good percentage. I'd say closer to past 50%. I'd say close to 80-90% of those guys. There's a few, maybe 5. I'd say if there's a group of 50, there's maybe 10 that are really just getting. The rest of them going back to the cubicle or back to their cell and cursing and using and hustling. And I was still guilty even in my prison sentence this next 4.5 years.
So it's tough for some people to really get all in because they know that what the requirement might be. And for me to do that, I just don't know if I can fully give myself to it. Now, we have been fully giving ourselves to other things and demonic stuff. I mean, stuff that is of the devil on a level that we can't even understand. But now you're ready to get out of here. You're getting out of prison. Now what? You're heading to Dream Center right away because of these guys?
No, not at all. I do my 4.5 years. I leave that last year for maximum security, right? So I leave like from SMU, just pale and just, I ran a lot, so my lungs were good. I go see my parole officer. I get a cell phone because I saved up some state pays. I made $14 every 2 weeks. I'm in the big money, pod porter. I go get a phone. I go see my parole officer. The parole officer says, it's a temporary one downtown on 16th Street. He says, go to Vivre House on 22nd Street in Southern. That's a halfway house for parolees. I go there, I check in, I do everything, I'm good. Few months working in a landscape company, doing good, man. Doing the NAAA thing. But it's just perpetuating, man. I'm just around the same. What am I doing? Going to fries with my roommate. You know what I mean? I know how to manipulate. I've already inserted a couple comments to get him revved up because I know people are weak. And, I'm one of them. But in that moment, I know my audience and I'm my roommate. And I mentioned, some speed every once in a while. And we're walking through fries. And black dude walks up and is like, hey, you guys need anything? We get like 5 steps. I'm like, yeah, man, you should just throw in, you get a nickel. He's like, oh, he's got $5. And all of a sudden it's on. I get $80. He gives me 5, buys some off me. Boom, I'm using and selling. Mm-hmm. Just for 8 days. And this is the insanity that happens. The binges, you'll notice through these progressions, they go from long periods of time, months and years, to weeks and months, to weeks and days, days and weeks. 8 days, they catch on to me. I mean, I'm doing a lot, day and night and day. I'm on my phone, I'm in my room, I'm acting like I'm doing stuff. They come in for a UA, I refuse. I'm not giving you a UA. Well, you need to go to AverHealth anyways, we called you parole officer. So I go to parole, I go to AverHealth, I pee dirty. They say, you're refusing UA here, but you took a UA, so we're sending you to the intake apartment complex on 25th Avenue in Camelback. My parole officer says, meet me there. I get there. They put me in what's called the hot house, where you stay for 72 hours until you can get a clean UA. I work my way out of that. I get into a regular apartment, and just you're just working you're just on the property. You're not really doing nothing, and people start getting their stimuluses, and it's just I'm going to meetings, and here let me back it up. In that prison sentence that last time before I went to the hole, I'm running meetings for NA, and I do a 4-step inventory, and everything goes good, and I'm good, and I sit and I mourn my addiction. That's a step that I took towards kind of releasing the power that it had over me, but I was still feeding into it myself, so it kept pulling me in.
What do you think would be the thing that finally pulled you out of it? And hey, I'm going to try God here all the way.
I tried it my way for 26 years, from 14 years old, since that first time I started putting chemicals in my body. I tried it my way at that point in time for 26 years. I had no other choice at this last point other than try it God's way and give it an honest try. Let me give it an honest try. Let me see if I can really actually do it. If he can do it through me, whatever they're saying, can he do it? Can I do it? Can I do it with him? What's the deal? And I gave it a try, and gave it an honest to God's try.
And you did.
And I did.
And when did you? Why? And did you come here because of the Bible study zone? So from Dream Center or whatever? What was your final?
That was my look at. You see how I go to the Vivre house from prison? And God orchestrates that. I do a couple of 8-day benders. I go from that to detox, where I meet Mike Castleberry, who's lived here for 3 years, done phase 1, 2, and 3. He worked at CBI at the time as peer support. He tells me about this place. He says, you seem like a misfit. Pull you into Church on the Street, Dream Center collaboration. I come here and wow.
Things take off for you.
Wow.
I mean, I just find it so amazing that the God component of places like this, the Dream Center, the Church on the Street, is so important, and it cannot be bypassed. It's an integral part of a person's redemption and getting back. Well, listen, we're going to be talking about all the things going on in his life now today at the Dream Center, helping out, even in a little bit of leadership. Wow, I mean, I'm just saying, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you want to know more about what's going on here at the Church on the Street at the Dream Center, just hop out to their website at cotsphoenix.org. That's cotsphoenix.org for any of their information on prison ministries, rehabilitations, their weekly services, and some of their special events. So until next time, I'm Steve Savant. And remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.